Hey everyone, this is Dean with DCA Crypto. Got your weekly crypto YouTuber update. So want to cover some videos in this week that I think are absolutely important. So I'd appreciate if you subscribe to my channel, smash that like button, and let's jump into it. All right, this week we're going to cover 4 different videos. These 4 videos I think are really good ones that you guys should watch, and I'm going to post the links to these in the description of the video for you guys so you can click on them and watch these videos. Got some really interesting ones for you this week, so let's jump into it here. All right, the first one is by Savvy Finance. Not really familiar with this channel, and I'm not recommending necessarily the channel itself, but I do like the video because it's talking about Rule Paul's advice on how to handle the crypto market right now. And I think it's some good advice on this one. And so we'll watch a quick clip of this video, and then we'll move on to the next ones here.
So what's going on now? Why is crypto so shaky? It's the same reason tech's been shaky. It's liquidity, stupid. Liquidity is the big driver of all asset classes, and particularly crypto. It's the most receptive to liquidity injections or withdrawals. So I correctly managed to time the bottom in 2022 based around the liquidity cycle. And the forward-looking elements of the liquidity cycle continue well into 2025. So I don't have anything to concern over. So therefore, we're looking at the wiggles in liquidity.
Pal has an important warning/advice for cryptocurrency investors. Don't f this up. Hold, don't use leverage, expect and ignore drawdowns, and watch patiently as this entire market gets bigger than we can imagine.
In the last 12 months, you've probably forgotten this, but this is our 5th or 6th 20% pullback in Bitcoin. So you've dealt with this many times before. You just kind of forget it, which is weird. And I think Coinbase put out a super interesting tweet, which was there have been 5 Bitcoin bull markets. In an average bull market, you'll have to survive the following to ride it to the top: 6 5 to 10% drawdowns, 3 10 to 20% drawdowns, 2 20 to 30%, 1 30 to 40, 1 40 to 70. And that's all during a bull market. So it takes a certain kind of gumption. It takes an ability to turn off Twitter, to turn off your screens and say, has my thesis changed? Is the adoption of this technology stopping? Is there any other reason that it's going to slow down? Where are we in the business cycle? I spend enormous amounts of time trying to educate you guys that this is a macro asset and it's driven by the business cycle. Just happens to be forward-looking, like technology stocks, and it's driven by the liquidity cycle. So has something changed in the business cycle that would tell us that we're going to have a failed crypto cycle? Well, in all probability, that's a no. So therefore, it's corrective price action. And if you happen to have extra money on the sidelines, use these corrections to add. That's what I did.
So he's talking about the crypto cycle with the liquidity and how he was getting in at the bottom of the liquidity cycle and the money that he put in. Even though we're getting these dips right now, same with me and a bunch of other people who were following my channel last year, when we got into these investments really early on, even with these dips right now, we're still in profits on pretty much all of our coins. So it's not stressing us out at all. It's stressing out a lot of people out there, and maybe some of you guys that have purchased some of these coins while they were higher in price within the last few months. And now we've had these corrections. So, it scared some people out of their portfolios. It's worrying some people. And if it's your first cycle, it's going to worry you as well because you're wondering if the bull run is over. You're wondering if these dips are normal and so on. And, so what he's saying is here, as he pointed out, there's several dips along the way in a bull run, and this is likely just another dip along the way up. So, his strategy is to just add to these dips, while we're getting a discount, add a little bit more to your portfolio, and then when we take off again, you'll probably be in profit. Like if you purchased some last week during the dip when Bitcoin was down to, I think, 56,400 or somewhere, and some of these alts were down quite a bit. If you would have bought then, you would already be up a decent amount on those coins if you had purchased during the dip. So that's kind of what you do during these dips. So that's pretty much the information for this video. There's some other good information in this video if you guys want to watch it. The link will be in the description below. I'm going to jump into the next video here. So this next video here is with Crypt Banter. They did a debate. This is a really interesting debate. This is a long video, so I recommend watching it. It's 2 hours long when you got the time to watch it. It's very interesting. They got 4 different experts on here, or 4 different people that have been in the space, the financial space for a while and the crypto space for a while. 2 on each side giving their opinions on Bitcoin and crypto in general. As far as the crypto markets and our economy, they discuss a lot of things in this video. I'm going to play a little bit of this clip here quick, and then you guys can take a look at this later on, but I think this is one that is really interesting to watch.
So, I mean, I said at the onset that I want to start somewhere where we agree. Question is, do we at least agree on the state of the economy, the US economy? Eric, I'm going to hand it over to you.
I find it very interesting that two obviously intelligent people who observe these financial markets disagree so immediately on even like the macro state. I think this is emblematic of the fact that the economy is kind of a mirage, and it is not a scientific mechanism that people actually understand. Right? For two experts to sit here and like have completely different views on whether it's even good or bad, there's really like a deeper, interesting issue there, and so I find that kind of sad. They're not going to like disagree on whether the weather outside is like rainy or sunny. They're not going to disagree on like engineering principles, but you look out into the economy and all you see is a bunch of shadows, and I think that's largely because the monetary system is completely a mirage. And we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Well, maybe you could kick us off and tell us why you think the monetary system is a mirage.
I mean, I don't want to be the one, well, yes, I do, to say that the emperor wears no clothes, but the government just prints money and everyone pretends that that's where like success and wealth come from. This is absolutely preposterous. Printing money does not create wealth. And people throughout history have known this, and yet time and again, they get bamboozled into thinking that if you just create more money, suddenly people are going to be more prosperous. It's amazing that the sham has gone on so long, and it's amazing that more people aren't like freaking out about it.
How does it end?
It ends in debasement of the currency, which we're going through now at an accelerating rate, and it ends in a bond market collapse when people realize that they're lending money to the most bankrupt organization on earth,
being the United States government.
Yeah.
Agree with everything you said.
So hold on. So we actually do have some agreement.
Let me be the optimist for a second.
So like he was saying, basically he thinks that, the printing of the money is not the solution to fixing our problems. It's just a Band-Aid. And you can only put a Band-Aid on a wound so long without healing the wound. And eventually the Band-Aid is going to come off and the wound is going to bleed all over the place and the patient's going to die. We need to actually, amputate the leg and cauterize it and fix the problem. And whatever's causing us to keep bleeding, they need to stop the bleeding pretty much instead of just keep putting a Band-Aid on it. They need to stop the spending. They need to stop the printing of the money. And all of these things need to stop in order for us to heal the economy and heal our country. And it's not just the United States. It's happening all over the world. These governments printing money and everything, that's going on is not good. Throwing all this money into all these wars out there. It's basically just taking the money away from the taxpayers who earn the money and giving it out to everybody else all over the world. And it's getting absolutely ridiculous. So that's kind of the point he's making here. I want to play another section of the video here. This is really interesting what he's about to say. And then we'll jump on to the next video.
All four of us are going to probably stipulate and agree that modern monetary theory does not work. Maybe Norio, I think you would agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Peter, Eric, modern monetary theory, printing
it's not
money.
Modern, and it's not even a theory.
Okay, but I want
that modern monetary theory
doesn't work.
Is a scam.
But I want to explain it from a perspective of my upbringing, because I think it's important for people to understand. And we'll talk a little bit about politics if you don't mind. What happens is when you get wealthy, you get the collective biases of the people around you, and you insulate yourself as a result of your wealth. But if you're not wealthy and you go into neighborhoods where people are not wealthy, they see the world entirely differently than the wealthy. And so, as an example, my dad was a crane operator, so he got his money by the hour, he brought the money home. We used the money to live. We had no assets. We did own the house, thank God. Bought the house for $16,000. The house is now valued at $783,000, according to Zillow. Same house, so it's pure inflation. And by the way, if you look inside the house, Carol Brady called and she wants her walnut paneling back, okay? And we had a little hallway kitchen. And I would never dishonor my dad by telling him, you guys, I grew up poor. I didn't. I grew up solidly in the middle class. However, when you inflate or debase the currency, you destroy these people. because they can't catch up. You know, if Peter owns a house or I own a house, the asset will go up nominally with the fiat currency, but your labor is getting stolen from you if you don't own anything. So the $1,000 comes in. Let's say the $1,000 came in January of 2020. It's worth $760 today. Okay, just, you know, if you don't believe me, go look it up on the internet. We lost 25% of the value of the US dollar in 4 years. So maybe my house went up nominally, I'm protected. Maybe my stock account went up nominally, I'm protected. But these lower and middle income people that are relying on labor, they're getting absolutely destroyed.
So, you know, what he's saying there is basically all the people out there, like all of us, you know, people, most of the people who are watching my channel, we're the working class. You know, we're out working 9 to 5, whatever. I work, you know, 7 to 4, and I work overtime. I'm salaried, so I don't get paid for my overtime. Sometimes I got to work nights and days. I'm on call right now while I'm making this video. I can get called out in 5 seconds, and I got to shut this recording off and go work. You know, the working class out there, we're the ones that are suffering, and pretty much this is, you know, the whole issue with the economy and interest rates rising and inflation rising. It affects all of us out there who are the lower class or the middle class, trying to survive and survive this inflation. And if you haven't noticed, your grocery bills going up over the last few years. Everything's gone up. The prices of housing has gone up. It's getting to the point where people can't even afford to purchase a home anymore, which is absolutely ridiculous. You know, I'm hoping my kids will be able to afford to go out and purchase a home. That's everybody's, you know, most people's dream is to own a home at some point in their life. It's getting to the point where only the big investors will be able to purchase these homes. They're the ones that have all the money. They're the ones that'll only be able to afford purchasing these homes, and then they're going to charge rent. That's absolutely outrageous. So the working class are the ones that are suffering. So there's some interesting points in this video, and they cover a lot of stuff in this video, so I think you guys would find it useful to watch this. So let's jump into the next one here. We've got a video by Graham Stefan. This video is pretty interesting. They talk about how everyone is wrong about Bitcoin here. I'm just going to play a quick clip of this one to give you the gist of it, and then you guys can watch it if you're interested.
That's going to zero. That's going to zero. This is going to zero too. Euros are going to zero. The yen's going to zero. The Chinese currency is going to zero. It's all going to zero against
Bitcoin is worthless artificial gold.
I would short it if there was an easy way to do it.
We're getting ready for another big dump. It's all about pump and then dump.
What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So I'm finally going to talk about one of the most requested topics on my channel by far over the last few months, and that would be Bitcoin. After all, in the last year, it's rallied from a low of 26,000 to a high of almost 74,000. It was consistently the best performing asset over the last decade. And because of that, it's also the most controversial asset over the last decade.
He said if you're trading this, it's like watching other people trading turds and deciding you want to get a piece of that.
We got the Bitcoin. They don't. We got it. They don't.
That's right. Without exaggeration, this is the one subject that people either love or they hate with all of their being. And as a result of that, you have some wildly different opinions in terms of its value. Like, on the one hand, you have several analysts who soon believe it could be priced at over $1 million, while others compare it to smoking cigarettes or rat poison when Warren Buffett wouldn't even pay $25 for all the Bitcoin in the world. So given the extremes felt on both sides, let's discuss the bull and bear cases at today's value, the realistic dangers that need to be taken into consideration, and then finally, what the experts believe it could be worth in a few years, because if they're correct, it's absolutely mind-blowing.
So check out Graham's video. It's going to give you a really interesting perspective on Bitcoin and where the price action could lead to over the next few years because of the Bitcoin ETFs and because of inflation, because of a lot of things going on in the market right now. So it's a really interesting video. You guys should take a look at it. We're going to jump into the last video here. This is by Peter from House of Crypto. It's got a really interesting video on certain altcoins and I guess altcoins in general, but also certain altcoins, you know, that could be not so great if you invest in them. So we'll watch a quick clip of this one.
With caution, this chart tells me the Bitcoin and the altcoins are approaching perfect buying opportunities. However, many of the altcoins out there have dirty little secrets, and they haven't been hiding them so well. In this video, I'm going to share with you these coins that are holding these dirty secrets that you need to be aware of, because if you fail to recognize this important fact, you could get absolutely burned while you think you're finding good value. Do me a favor, hit the like button, and let's find out what those secrets are. Now, guys, first things first, let me paint the picture. Where we are right now, where we're going, and what we need to know. This is Glassnode's Bitcoin accumulation trend score, and you can see that when it's getting accumulated heavily, the dark purple areas don't always tend to be so favorable for buying. And then when we go into the yellow phase, we get into a bull local distribution. You can see this local distribution we look to be entering into right now, or at least at the end of March. And we now continue on this phase through April, and now it's obviously May, which tells us that lots of people are now identifying that this is probably a good time to be buying in. And damn right, in my personal opinion, it is a good time to be aping into altcoins. And I've been telling you this narrative over the last few weeks, and it's only getting better and more juicy as Bitcoin continues to dip. How much lower does Bitcoin go? Well, we talked about these buy zone areas on a live stream that I made yesterday. You can see that it's starting to find a bit of support here around 59k. It's currently finding support 57k, and you would imagine that if it goes to the worst case scenario, we're going to get down to around $51,300, which might seem very scary, and is approximately another 10 or 11%. If Bitcoin hits 51k, you better believe I'm selling my house, I'm selling my underwear, I'm selling myself, so that I can basically get into any altcoin that is out there, okay? Because I want as much cash to be diving into the altcoins, but not all of the altcoins stand equal. Now, also, I want to think about this. In the last bull market, everyone was aping into certain gaming coins like Gala and making tons and tons of cash. People were aping into good layer ones like Solana and doing the same. Now, you can see that since December of 2021, which is around the top of the last bull market, there was around 400,000 crypto coins.
So Peter's saying out there is you just don't want to dump into any coin, when we get these dips. There's certain ones that could perform better than the others. He's going to cover some of the coins out there that he thinks are probably not good investments on there. So check out that video, guys. Some pretty good advice out there. But he's right. If we do get a dip down to 51, 53,000, that would be time for me to put some funds into the market pretty heavily that I have stashed off to the side that I haven't deployed yet, that I would only deploy if we got a situation like that. Because right now, I've got my portfolio pretty much built, and I'm in profit on just about all the coins in my portfolio right now. So I'm not really deploying any cash right now. But if we were to get some big dip like that, I think I would probably deploy a good amount of coins in the market, because likely would pick up from there, and we could go parabolic after that point if, as long as everything continues like it has in the past with the previous cycles. So that's pretty much what I got for the weekly crypto YouTuber update. So check out these videos. I think they're really interesting, and there's a lot of information in these videos, so make sure you check them out. I'll leave them in the description below for you guys. Hope you like this video, and we'll see you on the next one.
Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Tell me what you want, what you need. Tell me, tell me, tell me.